Once upon a time, a young man named Siddhartha approached the Buddha, his heart heavy with worry. Siddhartha had been struggling for many months, unable to find peace within himself. His days were filled with endless thoughts, and his nights were restless. He had heard of the Buddha's wisdom and hoped that he could find some solace in his teachings. His mind raced with thoughts of the past and anxieties about the future. He was haunted by regrets of what he had done and fears of what was yet to come. The weight of these thoughts was almost unbearable, and he felt as though he was drowning in his own mind. He desperately sought the Buddha's wisdom to quiet his troubled mind. He had tried many things to find peace, but nothing seemed to work. Meditation, prayer, and even physical exercise had all failed to bring him the calm he so desperately needed. The Buddha listened with compassion as Siddhartha poured out his troubles, his words tumbling over each other in their haste. He spoke of his sleepless nights, his constant worry, and his inability to find joy in anything. The Buddha's eyes were kind and understanding, and Siddhartha felt a glimmer of hope. When he finished, Siddhartha looked at the Buddha with pleading eyes, hoping for an answer, a solution to the incessant chatter in his mind. He was desperate for a way to silence the noise and find some semblance of peace. The Buddha smiled gently and gestured to a tall, sturdy tree nearby. He seemed to know exactly what Siddhartha needed to hear, and his calm demeanor was reassuring. "Siddhartha," he began, his voice calm and soothing. "Do you see that tree standing so strong and tall? It has been there for many years, through all kinds of weather." Siddhartha nodded, his gaze drawn to the tree's impressive presence. He could see the strength and resilience in its trunk and branches. "That tree," the Buddha continued, "has weathered many storms. It has stood firm through the fiercest winds and the heaviest rains. It has not been broken by the challenges it has faced. It has seen scorching sun and endured biting winds. The tree has faced the harshest conditions, yet it remains standing, tall and proud, yet it stands tall and unwavering." The Buddha paused, allowing Siddhartha to absorb his words. He then continued, "The tree's strength comes from its roots, which go deep into the earth. It is grounded and connected to something greater than itself. This is what gives it the ability to withstand the storms." Siddhartha, "You too must find your roots. You must connect with something greater than yourself, something that will give you strength and stability. Only then will you be able to weather the storms of your mind and find the peace you seek." Siddhartha looked at the tree with renewed interest, trying to understand the Buddha's point. He noticed the tree's deep roots, anchoring it firmly to the ground. The Buddha, seeing Siddhartha's gaze, elaborated, "Just like that tree, our minds need strong roots. These roots are our awareness of the present moment." He explained that when we focus on the past, we become entangled in regrets and what-ifs. When our thoughts race to the future, we are consumed by anxieties and fears. The Buddha emphasized that the past is gone, the future is uncertain, and the only reality is the present moment. "But how do I stop my mind from wandering?" Siddhartha asked, his brow furrowed in thought. The Buddha smiled again, his eyes twinkling with understanding. "The mind is like a playful monkey," he said, "always swinging from one thought to another." He explained that we cannot force our minds to be still, just like we cannot force the wind to stop blowing. However, we can gently guide our attention back to the present moment whenever it strays. This, the Buddha explained, is the practice of mindfulness. Just as the tree's roots keep it grounded, our awareness of the present moment anchors us, preventing our thoughts from carrying us away into the storms of worry and overthinking. To illustrate further, the Buddha asked Siddhartha to bring him a cup of water. This simple request was not just about quenching thirst, it was a profound lesson in mindfulness and awareness. As Siddhartha handed him the cup, the Buddha held it up for all to see. The sunlight glinted off the surface, creating a mesmerizing dance of light and shadow. "Tell me, Siddhartha," he said, "what is the most important part of this cup of water?" His voice was calm, yet it carried the weight of a deeper meaning. Siddhartha pondered for a moment before replying, "Is it the cup itself, Master?" He looked at the intricate design of the cup, wondering if its beauty held the answer. The Buddha shook his head. His eyes twinkled with a knowing smile, encouraging Siddhartha to think deeper. "Or is it the water inside?" Siddhartha ventured again. He considered the life-giving properties of the water, its clarity and its purity. The Buddha smiled and said, "The most important part of this cup of water is the part you are aware of right now." His words were simple, yet they carried a profound truth. He explained that if we are focused on the cup's material, we miss the coolness of the water. The texture of the cup, its weight and its design can distract us from the immediate experience. If we are lost in thoughts about where the water came from, we miss the sensation of it quenching our thirst. The origin of the water, its journey to the cup, becomes irrelevant in the face of the present moment. The Buddha's lesson was clear. Mindfulness is about being fully present in the moment. Whether it's the feel of the cup in your hands or the taste of the water on your tongue, each moment is unique and precious. By being aware of the present, we can find deeper meaning and satisfaction in even the simplest of actions. The cup of water became a symbol of mindfulness, a reminder to live fully in the now. So next time you hold a cup of water, remember the Buddha's words. Focus on the sensation, the experience, and let go of distractions. In that moment, you will find true mindfulness. The Buddha then went on to explain that mindfulness can be practiced in every moment, not just while meditating under a tree. He used simple examples to illustrate his point. When you eat, he said, be fully present with each bite. Notice the flavors, the textures, the sensations in your mouth. He continued, when you walk, pay attention to the feeling of your feet on the ground, the air against your skin, the sounds around you. The Buddha emphasized that by bringing our full attention to these everyday activities, we can train our minds to become more present and less prone to overthinking. The Buddha then shared another story. There was once a woman who spent her days worrying about the future. She was constantly anxious, her mind always racing with thoughts of what might happen. She feared growing old, losing her loved ones, and facing the unknown. Her worries consumed her, making it difficult for her to enjoy the present. One day she came across a wise old man who gave her a special gift, a box filled with precious moments. The old man had a gentle smile and a calm demeanor that immediately put her at ease. The woman was overjoyed and immediately opened the box, eager to experience the treasures inside. She felt a surge of excitement, thinking that this box might hold the answers to her worries. But as she reached in, she found it was empty. Her heart sank and she felt a wave of disappointment wash over her. Confused and disappointed, she asked the old man why he had given her an empty box. She couldn't understand why he would give her something that seemed so meaningless. The old man smiled kindly and said, "My dear, the box is not empty." His eyes twinkled with wisdom as he spoke. "It is filled with the most precious gift of all, the present moment." He explained that the present moment is a gift that we often overlook because we are too busy worrying about the future or dwelling on the past. But you were too busy worrying about the future to notice it. The woman realized that she had been missing out on the beauty of the present moment because she was so focused on her fears and anxieties. From that day on, she made a conscious effort to live in the present. She started to appreciate the little things in life, the warmth of the sun on her face, the sound of birds singing, the laughter of her loved ones. She found that by focusing on the present, her worries about the future began to fade. She felt more at peace and more connected to the world around her. The gift of now had transformed her life, bringing her a sense of joy and fulfillment that she had never known before. She learned that the present moment is truly a gift, and that by embracing it, we can find happiness and peace. And so the Buddha's story reminds us all to cherish the present moment, for it is the most precious gift we have. The Buddha's teachings resonated deeply with Siddhartha. He realized that true peace and freedom from overthinking lay not in dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, but in fully embracing the present moment. He understood that, like the tree with its strong roots, he too could find stability and peace by grounding himself in the here and now. From that day forward, Siddhartha committed himself to practicing mindfulness. He started small, paying attention to his breath, his steps, and the simple acts of daily life. Gradually, he found his mind becoming calmer, his thoughts less erratic. The Buddha's teachings became his anchor, reminding him to return to the present moment whenever his mind wandered.